And nobody in this room would be better at holding a secret than you.
Our nationwide nightmare is over. Michael Rapaport is gone from the Traitors Season 4. Today, we will be recapping both Episode 4 and Episode 5 of the Traitors. Had Michael Rapaport versus Colton. We had Tiffany versus Eric's musical ears. We had Monet get murdered. We had Carolyn Stanbury get murdered, sent back to Dubai. And we had two people voted out. One we're sad about and one we're very, very happy about. But welcome in to Survivor Squared. My name is Tony Squares. If this is the first time you're seeing this show, welcome to the channel. Head on down, like and subscribe, help this channel grow. If you're interested in anything Traitors and Survivor related on the way to Season 50, we are covering all of that on this channel, in this space, and we're happy to be doing so. We have an episode coming out later this week where me and my co-host Bailey Buffs are breaking down all of the challenges that we want to see come back for Survivor Season 50. But today is dedicated to murder, and dedicated to Scotland, and dedicated to us saying, don't let the door hit you on the way out, to Michael Rapaport. Bailey Buffs, come on into the show. Let's talk about Traitors. You ready?
I'm so ready. But Tony, I need to ask you a question first. Would you, for this Halloween, dress up as Alan Cumming in his murder sweater with me?
Here's the short answer, no. But let's start off right there, Bailey, into why that answer is no. Everything else aside, we'll be talking about everything that happened, all the ramifications, all the dirty little round table discussions. We'll be talking about all that. But I want to take a bigger picture item here, Bailey, and I got a complaint I have to lodge with the people in charge here, and it has to start with Alan Cumming and that murder armless sweater that he was wearing. Traitors is wonderful because of how campy and fun it is, and it's also wonderful for the fashion that we get to see these people in. Just the most ludicrously capacious outfits, to steal a line from another show. They are wonderfully ridiculous. And I have to say, this season in particular, while there have been highlights, mostly on Jam Jam, Episode 4 and 5 showcase some of the worst male fashion I have seen in a long, long time. Colton Underwood with his sleeveless sweater. Ron Funchess wearing a bright orange raincoat. There were some ridiculous outfits, and I think it's actually because the women are all dressed marvelously, no matter what they're wearing. The women are dressed to impress. And Alan Cumming usually looks wonderful. That murder sweatshirt made him look disgusting and old. Colton looked awful in his outfits, especially with the blue sachet hanging over the white shirt.
Just one side.
Every one of these, the men in particular, look terrible, and every one of the women look beautiful, gorgeous, marvelous, powerful. Natalie and Kristen from Top Chef, like all these people look awesome. The men look awful, Bailey. What is going on?
Okay, I think you're forgetting one glaring thing, though. The men minus Rob look awful. That man can rock overalls with no shirt under it whenever
he looks terrible too. Come on.
No.
Physically, they look great, but they look so stupid. Those outfits, compared to the women, they look awful.
Okay, I agree. Compared to the women, they look awful, but they normally always do. And also, those overalls are iconic from his season of Love Island. I will give a shout out to Ron's like multicolored, sparkly, not sparkly, but like fluffy sweater that he wore at the
Cosby sweater, Bailey.
So cute.
He was wearing a Cosby sweater. It was disgusting. They make him look like,
more
honestly,
stylish than Cosby.
I'm a guy who's not exactly in the fittest of shapes either, but there's a way to make us all look better in appearance. Ron looks like a blob in most of these shows, and it's because of what they're making him wear. Ron's not picking out that sweater. It's production. It's Peacock that is dressing up these characters, and most of them look awful. I have to say that. Most of them look awful. Fashion aside, we had two wonderful episodes. I do believe there was a reason that we had 3 released the first weekend and 2 released the second weekend. It's because they wanted to speed rush getting rid of Michael Rapaport, because they knew what they were doing when they cast that man. They also knew how the bulk of their audience was going to react. And now after episode 5, just 2 weeks into this show, we still have, I believe, 7 episodes to be released. Michael Rapaport is gone. And at the end of it all, everyone at the round table was okay seeing him go, not because they thought he was a traitor. I said this in the video I made. There was no assumption that Michael was a traitor. There was rather confirmation that Michael is an asshole.
Very low blow.
I don't think it was.
It was.
Well, you're wrong.
We'll get to the individual argument between him and Colton aside. Now that it's over and we knew what was coming with Michael Rapaport, me and you had our preconceived bias on what this was going to be like. The 5-episode arc of Michael Rapaport, is this better or worse than what you expected heading into it? Meaning, did you enjoy it more than you thought you would, or were you really turned off by it more than you thought you were?
I would definitely not say I enjoyed any part of it by any means. I did not enjoy him acting like a child. It made me cringe every time he ate food or drank a glass of water. The way he spoke to women, the way he spoke to the gay men, every part about him I did not like. The only thing I will say is I mentally prepared for the absolute worst case scenario with that man. So it didn't go as far as in my brain it could have gone or he is capable of going. But no, he's awful. It's a breath of fresh air that he is gone. I know that there are many people, I have friends included, that are now going to be more tuned in because he is out. They did not want to support the show with him on it. I think he pretty much behaved exactly as I thought he would, which was gross and disgusting and just non-excusable.
I think they kind of painted him as that way too. There were, the close-ups of him eating the plate multiple times, the close-up of him double clutching a water glass. Like the editors know what they're doing. If anything, this show is supremely edited. And I also know from a fact that they cut a lot of Michael Rapaport out, especially at the round table. This was not the first time he had blown up at the round table and sort of made the show completely about him. That's why I thought he was going to go out early, because this man doesn't have an off switch. This man is constantly on. He says in a confessional straight to camera that he knows sometimes he can get ahead of himself. He can get too emotional, so he tries to keep that in check because he knows people won't affect that the right way. And then he says in episode 5 that the people in the castle are starting to realize who he is for his personality, so he can be himself more and not have to watch himself, put on those guardrails. And guess what? Those guardrails should have stayed up, because the reason he is voted out is because he comes directly at Colton, accusing Colton of being a traitor, which is perfectly in the realm of the game, accusing Colton of lying beforehand, directing the round table different ways. Colton was wrong in accusing Tiffany and others of being a traitor, completely in the realm of the game. But then to put a cherry on top, because this man cannot stop himself from talking and loves the sound of his own voice. He loves to go on diatribes and monologues that yours truly speaking right now also knows to go on, but I might be smart enough to not catch a foot in my mouth after I'm saying certain things. He says to Colton, you would be a great traitor because you know from your past how to keep a secret, aka insinuating, whether he meant to or not, that Colton spending 29 years in the closet would make him a good traitor because he lied to himself and others for so long. Why can't he lie in this game?
You said because I held a secret for 29 years, I would be a
didn't
good
say
traitor.
you held a secret for 29 years.
You insinuated it.
You're a traitor.
I made a huge video about that on my social channels, calling out that Michael was awful for saying something like that. And I know Colton, we've talked about on this show, is not the perfect person. He is not, a holy angel himself. We have our own thoughts about Colton. Regardless of how you feel about him, I believe this was a low blow, as Maura Higgins put it at the round table. I also believe Michael, this is who he truly is. This is him mask off, showing you that he is this low of a person. And there are some people who said it was true. Michael made a point. This was well within the realm of the game, and I sit here and say I highly disagree with you. There are things you can say, and there are things you shouldn't say. And people are also attributing it that it was a Jeff Varner versus Zeke situation where Jeff Varner outed Zeke. I don't know if it's that far, but I do know truly this was Michael showing who he was, and I believe he did not deserve any television time, and Peacock should be ashamed of putting him out there. That's all I'll say about Michael.
No, I completely agree. I was going to make that comment about the Varner and Zeke situation. Of course, it's not as dramatic or as drastic as that outing obviously was, but I think it comes back to the same conversation topic of where is the line when playing a game? When you're on this competitive reality TV show, where is the line of what you can say and blame it on its gameplay, or where it really steps outside of it and into the humanity comment of is that okay to do to someone? And I do think that falls in the realm of still just unacceptable. Yes, we're playing a game. Yes, you're supposed to accuse. Yes, you're supposed to come with, evidence and these things. Sure. But there is a line. There's a moral line. And I think it was absolutely crossed. And it was disgusting behavior. I will say episode 4, Michael didn't speak for 5 minutes and 26 seconds. And it was the best part of all 4 of those episodes so far.
I do want to keep on this, though, because not only am I, reality TV producers are a certain ilk, and they're going to defend this. They're going to defend this casting because they're, getting the headlines that they want. This is exactly what they wanted. They wanted two people on a podcast online to keep talking about Michael Rapaport in order to talk about the show. All news is good news, all that stuff. But reality TV producers aside, Peacock aside, there was one note that came up in this show that has really stuck with me. And I believe it was Ron Funchess who said this, who we're going to talk about in a second too, with all the things going on with Ron. Dorinda has defended Michael, saying this is how Michael acts. This is just who Michael is. Because Michael has done work with Bravo before. He covers the Housewives. Apparently he's good friends with Andy Cohen. Like, that's why he's on this show. That's why he's on Traitors. So, like, Dorinda does have a past with Michael. Is probably friends with Michael off air. And to me, the Dorindas of the world are just as bad as the Michaels of the world, because they act as if they're this, open public forum where everyone should watch my show. We just have fun. We have drinks. We're the housewives. We go crazy. We have a togetherness, a sisterhood, all that jazz. And yet they see someone as vicious as Michael, at least as he comes off to be. I don't care who he is off camera, on camera and online, and everything he spews out there, all the hate he spews towards everybody. Like, they can't not see that. And then also go, oh, that's just him. That's just how he is. Like, that is an enabler. That is an abuser, and you are enabling him to act this way towards others just because you make it seem okay. Just because he hasn't abused you, Dorinda, doesn't mean he doesn't make other people feel less than. And so Dorinda and the rest of them who enable this man to be here, you're just as bad as Michael in my eyes. I just wanted to get that out there, Bales.
I agree fully. I think anyone that is enabling bad behavior in people, you are guilty by association, 100%. You are allowing this toxic behavior to be okay or making excuses for it. Therefore, makes me believe that you think it's okay. And that negatively impacts my belief, my thoughts on you. And so, yeah, I agree with you fully.
No, that's the end. We're done. We're done talking about Michael Rapaport. It is over. He is gone. He is voted out. I do love how Natalie Anderson says the same exact thing she said when John Rocker in San Juan del Sur, we just need to get together and vote him out. It's perfect. Kismet, who knows that she didn't know that she was saying the same exact line, but she said it the same exact way. Rapaport's gone. Colton accused him of being a traitor. Colton is wrong yet again. Colton's going to have an even bigger target on his back because the episode before, if we're going to work backwards, Colton accuses Tiff from Big Brother for being a traitor and somehow gets all of the round table to agree that Tiff is the traitor, not just because of what Colton said, but because of Eric the night before, when the traitors murder them face to face, hears people walking around a tree and hears a laugh, and he believes the laugh is Tiffany. And that alone convinces the round table to not vote out Ron, to not vote out Rapaport, to not vote out anyone else that's been accused, but rather throw all of their daggers at Tiffany.
And I heard a laugh. I'm 99% sure that laugh was you, Tiffany.
We've seen this now a couple of times, more than once. In fact, every single round table except for the first, we've seen a bulk of the votes go in one direction. These people are easily swayed. Do you think the faithfuls are doing a terrible job at playing traitors, or do you just believe that they are being convinced, like there are great convincing arguments? Is it more the lawyers or is it more the jury?
I think it's nuanced because I think there are so many factors that go into it. Like, as far as Tiff, I think if she had defended herself better, I think she could have convinced people. She did not do a good job around that round table. Maybe she was so caught off guard and really didn't think any heat was coming her way, so she was just that unprepared. But she got defensive. She got a little rude. She got a little low dig. She started fighting with Jam Jam. Like, if she had behaved differently, I don't know if everyone would have jumped on that bandwagon as well. And I mean, I think it's hard in these first weeks. No one wants to throw out a name. No one wants to put that target on their back. And so even if they think it's someone else, if the majority is going one person, it's like Tara and Johnny. Like, they haven't talked to gameplay. Of course they're thinking about it, but they're just going to sit there and go, whatever makes it not me. You know, what's that Survivor quote?
Anyone but me. Anyone but me.
Anyone but you know. And so I think in the beginning we tend to see that a lot in past seasons. It's a lot of just kind of ganging up on one person because it's easier to not get the heat on you.
Yeah.
But I do think in terms of faithfuls playing to try to win the game, that's a stupid way to do it because they
Yeah.
are just getting faithful after faithful out. They got super lucky with Donna Kelsey
Yeah, they
and
did.
now I don't they are just off. I mean, and brava to the traitors who anytime there is someone kind of spewing their name very quietly under wraps, they're murdering them so it doesn't get out. They're on top
Yep.
of it. They have been doing an
Yep.
incredible job at making everyone think that they are faithfuls and they are loyal. All three of these people are getting a lot of intel and they're using it to their benefit. I think this
Yep.
is some of the best traitors we've seen in Traitors USA because in past seasons, there's always been one that has kind of been the chaos, the agent of chaos, and kind of is
Yeah.
doing stuff because they're too excited that they're the traitor. These three are cool, calm, and collected. They're playing well together. They're making intelligent choices. I just think we have some killer traitors, in all honesty, and it's making chaos with the faithfuls.
It's too early for me to say whether we have killer traitors or dumbass faithful, and I haven't decided which boat I'm in yet because you're absolutely right with everything you just said. The traitors are playing a near perfect game, but it's also getting to a point where the people like Colton and Ron are now going to be in the crosshairs because Ron came out early and hard day one against Portia and was wrong. Colton has now taken out Tiffany and Michael and was wrong. So is this faithful group going to then turn their eyes on Ron and Colton? Or are they going to be smart enough to think that maybe it's the ones like Tara, like Johnny, who are under the radar? These people are hanging under the radar exactly why you would, Bailey, because you want to stay anyone but me. And those are the most suspicious ones. And is there anyone smart enough in this game that has enough sway to start pointing the fingers at those types of players? Because I just watched, when I was home at Christmas with my mom, we watched the Celebrity UK version of Traitors to get ready for this season, and it was a really fantastic watch. But the Traitors dominate that game because no one ever comes after the quiet ones, and it takes them a lot of time to come after the quiet ones. Being quiet is your best strategy in Traitors, and eventually people need to figure out that these traitors are too quiet, and we get a hint of that at the very end of episode 5 when people start saying Lisa Rinna has not been herself. She's usually vivacious, she's usually out there, she's usually the life of the party, and yet at these round tables she is a meek little cat. They suspect it to be traitor. Or Lisa might be doing it just because she's overwhelmed at the whole Michael Rapaport of it all. But now Lisa knows people are looking their eyes at her. So I am very interested to long-windedly answer your question. Is it good traitors or is it bad faithful with how episode 6 will live on? But Bailey, do you believe we're going to start to get some gameplay here? Or do you think they're still going to be torn at going after Ron and Colton?
I think it depends on Ron and Colton's reaction to what happened. I think that's what's going to be interesting to see. They tend to have a little bit more leeway with Colton than they do with Ron for some reason, even though they both have done the exact same thing in mislabeling the traitors.
You're absolutely right.
I think that for some reason, Ron is taking this and almost ostracizing himself more because he's just feeling like there's such a wall between him and these other players. But I think if he can somehow get past that and try to go to some of them and be like, listen, I've been playing hard because I'm a faithful, because I want us to win. I hope you guys see that. I'm not a traitor. I wouldn't be this vocal and this hardcore about it if I was a traitor, you know? And so if he and Colton can kind of handle that and have their side conversations and really play to the heart of these people, I think maybe they could get the attention off of it. But I really think that's going to rely on how both of them handle it. It makes me sad that people are so against Ron because I really don't feel like he's done anything to deserve it.
I agree with you. And like we don't know what's going on other than the edited versions that we're seeing. Ron definitely seems on the outs, and they are definitely treating Ron Funchess differently than they are treating Colton for having the same crime against them. But because we don't know who is up for murder, Bailey, instead we don't know whether there will or won't be a murder. Did people take shields? Did they not take shields? We don't know the answer to that question. So will someone be murdered or will they not be murdered? Before you answer, we both said out of the 4 people tied to a tree, there was no chance they were going to murder Caroline. We were both wrong. Yep. I think that was the worst move they made as traitors so far. Regardless, do you think there will be a murder or will there not be a murder, Bales?
I was watching that challenge, and the fact that there are, if you do the numbers of it, virtually 8 people they made us think might have taken the shields, those 2 groups of 4 at the end there. I think with the heavy influence of Colton really wanting to go for it. I think, who else had said they were Natalie, maybe? I forget who Natalie was the one that was
Natalie
like, I
wanted
think
a
we
shield
should really
bad.
go for it. I have a hard time believing that they all just chose Kumbaya. I think one of those two groups, if not both of them, did take the shield. I really do think they did. It would be so hard for me to believe that they all just decided to actually trust each other. This game is about backstabs and twists and turns, and taking care of number one, again, anyone but me. So I just think there's no way. And I think that was really, really smart gameplay mechanics too, because the whole time of that challenge having only one shield, yeah, no one's going to do it in front of their whole group. But then to provide this bonus, these 4 shields at the very end there, well, yeah, now your whole group's safe. You do it together. You don't tell anyone. Bing, bang, boom. We're all good. I think there's definitely going to be a murder. That was my long-winded way of saying I think there's going to be a murder.
I too want to tip my cap to the gameplay mechanics here. I thought that was most of these challenges. Again, they good on Peacock for figuring out how to make these challenges more gameplay specific and less about the random amounts of money that they are winning. I do not think there will be a murder, Bales, because I do think if everyone stayed true, they're all shielded, and also, even if the traitors choose to murder someone, maybe they have kind of a 50% chance of choosing someone who already has a shield due to the group of 4 that might have gotten a shield. So I do believe there will not be a murder, but we will be back next week to talk about Traitors episode 6, just one episode to talk about Traitors. We will also have the challenges that we want to see brought back for Survivor season 50. That episode is coming out later this week. And then also we have plenty of guests on the road to season 50. I cannot wait to get there, Bales. Until then, get some better fashion for the men in Traitors. Will you please?